They say every boy spends his life trying to make his father proud. I didn't realize I was one of them until the day I finally heard those words. It all started on a dusty baseball field. I was 10, a small kid with a big dream. I remember swinging the bat with all my might, but the ball just dribbled a few feet away. The other kids laughed, their voices sharp and clear. But it wasn't their laughter that stung. It was the silence from the man watching by the fence. My father, Robert. He didn't yell. He didn't clap. He just turned and walked away. That silence was louder than any scolding he could have given me. It echoed in my head for years. That night I saw him at the dinner table, a quiet man with tired eyes, his hands stained with grease from a long day at the auto shop. My mother, bless her heart, would whisper, "He's proud of you, Michael. He just doesn't know how to say it." But I was a kid. I needed to hear it from him. And so I waited. I kept waiting for a day that felt like it would never come. The silence between us wasn't empty. It was filled with my unspoken need for his approval. It became a heavy weight I carried everywhere. Years flew by, and the boy on the baseball field became a restless teenager. My room was a fortress of loud music and messy clothes, a rebellion against the quiet order of my father's world. Rejection letters from colleges were scattered across my desk like fallen leaves. One evening there was a knock on the door. It was my father. His voice was firm, but I could hear the exhaustion in it. "You're wasting your time, son. Life's not waiting for you." I couldn't hold it in anymore. I snapped back, "Yeah? Dad. And when did life ever wait for you, Dad?" "You never even tried to dream." He didn't argue. He didn't defend himself. He just closed the door, leaving me alone with my anger. And that silence, once a heavy weight, became a wall. A solid, cold wall between us. We became strangers living under the same roof, orbiting each other but never connecting. Soon after, I moved out. I decided to chase a dream my father never understood: photography. I wanted to prove him wrong, to prove to myself that I could make something out of nothing. I lived alone, worked late nights, and poured every ounce of my being into my camera. My mother would call sometimes. Her voice was always a bridge back to a home I felt I'd lost. "Your dad asks about you," she'd say. I always pretended not to care. "Oh yeah, what about?" I'd ask, trying to sound casual, but my heart would clench every single time. A part of me was still that 10-year-old boy, waiting by the fence for a sign, for a word. But the word never came. Then one night the phone rang. It was late. The kind of late where you know it's not good news. My mother's voice was trembling, breaking over the line. "Your dad. He's in the hospital. Heart attack." In that moment, the world stopped. Everything inside me froze. The camera I was holding slipped from my fingers and clattered to the floor. I grabbed my keys and just drove. I drove through the night, rain lashing against the windshield like tears, like time itself was running out. The miles blurred together, my mind racing with all the things I never said, all the moments we'd lost to silence. The hospital was sterile and quiet, but the air felt heavy, suffocating. The soft, rhythmic beeping of machines echoed down the hallway, a constant reminder of how fragile life is. I saw him through the doorway, my father, pale and weak, with tubes running into his arm. He looked smaller than I remembered. I stood there for what felt like an eternity, the wall between us still standing, even in that room. Finally, I found the strength to walk in. I sat beside his bed, the chair creaking under my weight. I leaned in and whispered, my voice barely audible, "Hey, Dad, it's me." He opened his eyes slowly, a flicker of recognition in them. A small, weak smile touched his lips. "Still chasing dreams, huh?" he rasped. I felt a lump form in my throat, and a laugh escaped me, tangled with a sob. "Yeah, and still trying to make you proud." His eyes glistened. Took a shaky breath, a lifetime of unspoken words gathering behind his next sentence. "You think I wasn't proud?" said his voice, soft but clear. "Son, ... Every picture you took, your mom showed me. Every single one. You made life look beautiful. I just... ... I didn't know how to say it. Tears I didn't know I was holding back started streaming down my cheeks. "You never had to say it, Dad," I cried. I just needed to hear it once. He squeezed my hand, his grip surprisingly firm for a moment. His voice broke as he looked at me, really looked at me, maybe for the first time. Then hear it now. "I'm proud of you, son." Those were the words. the words I had been chasing my entire life. They washed over me, breaking down the wall, filling the silence, healing a wound I didn't even realize was so deep. As my tears fell freely, the steady beep of the heart monitor began to slow. The rhythm faltered. I held his hand tighter, my own voice a whisper. "I love you, Dad." And then the world fell quiet. But this time, the silence wasn't empty. It was full of love. Weeks later, I stood in a small art gallery. It was my first exhibition, my dream finally realized. People walked around, admiring my work, cityscapes, portraits, captured moments of life's beauty. But my eyes were drawn to one photograph, set apart from the rest. It was a simple photo of my father in his garage, his hands stained with grease, a tired but genuine smile on his face. Beneath it, a small note read, "For the man who taught me what pride really means." As the crowd applauded, I looked up at that photo, my eyes glimmering. For the first time, that hollow space inside me was gone. I finally understood. My father had always been proud. He just spoke a different language, a language of silence, of sacrifice, of a love too deep for words. It was never about the home runs or the college degrees. It was about that one final moment when his lifelong silence became the loudest, most beautiful words in the world. Sometimes love doesn't need to be loud, it just needs to be heard, even if it's just once. Thank you so much for listening to my story. If this resonated with you, I'd be so grateful if you'd like this video and follow for more. Take care.